So I'm in the backyard garden, and I'm over here in this back corner where we have our grapevines. I think we've got 4 of them set up here. And if you saw our garden tour of this backyard garden, you saw that we had grapes actually starting to show up on the grapevines, and they were all pretty green. But since that tour, we've noticed that a bunch of the grapes have actually started turning purple, and that's pretty exciting. So we've got several bunches on here that are turning purple. So we would really like to be able to enjoy those when they're fully ready. In the past, we have had birds come and peck away at the grapes and left us with bare, I don't know what the word is, bare vines or bare bunches, you know, and that's kind of a bummer. But this year we're gonna do something about that. To hopefully solve that problem, we're gonna do some bird netting over the grapevines. And we have done that before, and we had some success. We're gonna try to do a little bit different this time, and I'm gonna secure it a little tighter and a little bit better so there's no open spots. So let me show you guys what we got. There's a lot of different bird netting options out there, and we just opted for the one that was the cheapest one since we didn't really need that much of it. It's a pretty fine mesh, and it's made of polyethylene, not vinyl. Not sure if that matters or not, but you can see the mesh sizing here. Now, I don't think any birds are gonna be getting through these openings. Well, maybe a hummingbird. So it comes in this roll like this, and it just kind of unrolls off of this big piece here, or off of this big bundle, and so you can let it dangle. You can see that it kind of is a dangly sort of thing, but what it does is it spreads open pretty far. I'm not actually sure how wide it spreads, but what I'm going to attempt to do here is send it between the fence and the grapevine, and then that way it can get pulled down through the backside and then over the front side and give it like a nice draping effect over the whole vine. Might be easier said than done, but let's find out. I'm gonna probably just start it like that and maybe just unroll it this way over the top of the grapevine, going end to end. I'm gonna give myself a couple feet of slack here so I can have a little extra on that end and then a little extra on this end. And then what I'll do is open up the netting portion of it and bring it over the grapevine here and feed it back behind over here. Now try to get every branch kind of pulled inside the netting. And again, the key word I think is try. I'll do my best. And then down here on the end where I think I want to stop with the netting, I'm gonna just cut right here. And really the trickiest part about this is getting it pulled all the way forward and all the way around the back side of it. I have a feeling the first time we did this, we didn't pull it all the way down the back side. I think we just draped it and let it kind of go as far as it could. And I think that might have been part of our problem as to why we were still getting birds taking our grapes. But maybe I'll do it right this time. So I'm at a point in some spots where the netting has connected or has reached around and I'm able to touch both sides. So what I'm gonna do to secure them together is I'm gonna use zip ties to kind of make myself a, you know, keep them together. So I'm gonna grab those zip ties real quick. All right, so I'm underneath now and I'm pulling some of this netting down. And I found the spot here where it connects to the front. And so right here, I'm just gonna bunch it together and I'm gonna send a zip tie through. I'm just bunching it. I'm not really getting it lined up perfect. I'm just bunching it together so that it's definitely seamed, you know, like seamed shut, so that these little turd birds don't come inside here. And I'm just gonna keep kind of going around the whole grapevine doing that kind of thing, because the less openings, the better. And hopefully no birds or no squirrels. I mean, we don't really have squirrels here. We don't have a squirrel problem really. I might go through a lot of zip ties doing this. So hopefully in the end, it'll be worth it for a bunch of good grapes, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep going along the line here, and when I get to like the main branch of this, I'm gonna make sure that I keep it really tight because I'm trying to be smarter than the birds here. and we'll see if I end up succeeding in my quest for more than bird wisdom, if that makes sense. What I'm finding out now is that maybe I could actually double up a couple of the zip ties to make them a little longer, and I could go around the branch itself, the main vine here, and tighten her up real good. I went away for 1 second, and when I came back, guess what? One of these guys has already found their way into the bird net. So now I want to get him out because I don't want to keep him trapped in there, but that's a real problem. So we're gonna get him out. Come on, buddy. There you go, get out. So he's out. So as you saw, the netting will keep the birds in. So hopefully it does as good a job at keeping the birds out. So I'm gonna finish kind of getting this all zipped up and tightened down, and then hopefully we're good to go. I used kind of a lot of zip ties on this, but it's okay because I think that I'm pretty confident that there's not an opening on the bottom where the birds can come up and in, which I think is what the problem was the last time we did netting. So I'm pretty confident that there's no in. So hopefully they don't do too much damage to this. One thing that I am anticipating, however, is any of these grapes that might be kind of like real close to this net, if the birds are gonna come, they might come and peck at these. So we could potentially lose the grapes that are along the netting, but any of the bunches of grapes that are inside, I think are gonna be safe. And you saw earlier the bird that got caught in here, and there's no birds in here now, so hopefully no birds get in here. So let me give you a couple more shots of what it looks like up close, and then I'll wrap it up. So we're gonna see if this holds up and fights off the birds. I know that if you had like a whole bunch of vineyard grapevine things lined up, and you know, that might not be a real productive way to protect them, because maybe your loss of grapes might not be that bad when you're comparing it to how many grape bunches you're gonna have anyway. So like, you know, when we've shot weddings at vineyards and we've seen just hundreds of rows of grapes, I don't know if I've ever seen them have netting or any other type of protective thing other than like the reflective tape that they hang. Maybe I've seen that more, but I'm not sure if it's real productive to have netting over hundreds of rows of grapes. So for somebody like us though, where we've just got 4 grapevines, that might be worth it, because we're only gonna have maybe 20 bunches of grapes. So I'd like to protect those. Also, this might be a little easier with 2 people, and I know Des would normally be helping me, but she's working on something else right now. It's a little tricky to get between the grapevine and the fence to get that netting down back behind there. So again, if we were to have this grapevine set up more in a row, sort of like out in the middle of a yard or something like that, it'd probably be a little easier to kind of drape it over and then pull down through the side. So I think my setup here is a little bit more unique and maybe a little trickier to get it all wrapped and covered. So if you got some rows of grapevines, a few, that might be a little easier to deal with. And hopefully someday we'll have a little more space, maybe on this property, maybe a different property, I'm not sure. But if that happens, then we'll probably go about doing this a little differently. If you guys have seen any other ways of protecting your grapes from birds or from other critters, leave the comment down below to let us know what other techniques you guys have used to keep those birds away. Because again, just like everything here, we're learning as we go, and whatever kind of feedback we get, we also would like to share back with you guys. So make sure to leave a comment. If you liked what you saw today, give us a like on the video, and we hope you'll consider subscribing, and then stick around for the next video, and we'll see what Des is up to, or what I'm up to, or what we're up to together. All right, see you next time.